So we've previously spoken about Bitcoin.
Yeah.
We like Bitcoin.
Yeah, I like Bitcoin.
I think it's pretty cool. We've talked a little bit about Ethereum, focusing on Ethereum 2.0. And recently we've talked about Nano. And Nano got great engagement. We found some diehard fans who love Nano, and we love it too. And so it was awesome to converse with them online.
They're not gonna like they're not gonna like episode 14 when it comes out and there's no cryptos in it.
So they're not going to be listening to this anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, so today I wanted to talk about another one. And it's one that I've had on my radar for, I would say, 6 months, but I've never looked into. I do own this coin, but this is not by any means financial advice.
Good disclaimer.
Okay, so this one is called Cardano.
Yeah.
You heard of it?
Yeah.
Okay, so it was launched in September 2017, so it's pretty new.
The first time that I heard about this, I thought it was like Grant Cardone's thing.
Yes.
Because everyone was
sounds
making...
like a conference he'd run.
Because a while ago there was everyone was kind of making their own crypto, a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, has Grant Cardone gone and made the third most popular cryptocurrency?
Yeah.
I hate that guy. Why does he have to do that? Nah.
Do you?
No, he's all right. He's all right.
Yes,
Sorry for the distraction.
That's a rabbit hole we don't need to go down. Okay, so they launched it in 2017 after 2 years of development, and one of the distinguishing factors about this particular crypto is that it was built around peer-reviewed papers. So what that means is usually when a developer or a development company creates a cryptocurrency or a blockchain-related thing, or it could, I think it's most things on the internet, there's a white paper.
Yeah.
And it's describing basically what it is in a more technical way. And so most of the time the product is created and a white paper comes out alongside it. In this particular situation, instead of writing the white paper and implementing the code straight away, they basically put out a bunch of white papers and got a bunch of experts to give opinion and approval, etc. And then from that, ADA or Cardano was formed. So that's kind of cool. They say that that's unique to their particular cryptocurrency. Now, how was Cardano created? So,
peer-reviewed papers. Oh, sorry, no, it wasn't a quiz.
It's 3 organizations behind Cardano. So remember, with Nano, it was Nano Foundation.
Nano Foundation, yeah.
We're kind of the overarching organization behind it. This particular situation is 3. So there's Cardano Foundation, which is the non-profit legal custodian, which is responsible for oversight and supervision of the brand.
Yeah.
They've got 25 plus employees in 15 countries, which is pretty cool. And then the second organization is called Emergo. 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 And they're the global tech partner responsible for commercial adoption. They've got 40 plus employees in 6 countries. But one that we want to highlight here is a company called IOHK, which is Input Output Hong Kong, is what that stands for.
Yep.
And so they're the software engineering and technology company that was responsible for building and doing the research. So they're the actual technical infrastructure behind this crypto.
Yeah.
And so on their website, they say that they're one of the world's most powerful blockchain infrastructure research and engineering companies. They've got over 400 employees in 50 countries. And the main thing that they focus on is this concept of cascading disruption. So it's the idea that most of the structures that form the world's financial, governance, and social systems are inherently unstable, right?
Yeah.
And IOHK is basically committed to identifying and developing technology to push towards fair and transparent order.
What did you say it was called? IOAC?
IOHK.
Oh, HK.
Are you looking it up?
Okay, yeah.
So IOHK was founded by a guy named Charles Hoskinson and Jeremy Wood.
Yep.
Now, really interesting thing here is Charles Hoskinson was one of the co-founders of Ethereum.
Oh, right.
One of 8.
Yeah.
And he actually moved on in 2014 after a dispute over whether they should accept VC funding or whether it should stay as a non-profit at Ethereum. He was on the side.
He moved away from Ethereum.
Yes.
To go on. Yeah. Okay.
Different sources will say that he kind of got fired, and different sources will say that he left. But I'll say that he moved on. A bit more diplomatic.
Very safe.
And so he was more in favour of the profitable VC funding format as opposed to non-profit. Jeremy Wood, who's the other co-founder of the technical development company behind Cardano, is... so Jeremy Wood, he was the operations manager at Ethereum. Right? So 2 ex-Ethereum employees, 1 a founder, start this new crypto. And so the blockchain itself is called Cardano, and the cryptocurrency is ADA.
Oh, yeah, okay, all right. Yeah, I always wondered about that because I've heard both of them in the same,
Right.
in the same sentence. Yeah,
Exactly. It's the same as Ethereum and Ether.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
And so this particular crypto is third generation crypto, which is a phrase that you might have also heard. Bitcoin, which is just used for transfer of virtual money or value, is the first generation. Second generation is Ethereum, which brings into that smart contracts.
True. Yeah.
And then the third generation is ADA. There's another one called like Polkadot. There's a bunch,
I've
a bunch
heard
of different
that one,
ones that are trying to push the envelope a little further in regards to how the blocks are mined, fees, etc. That it is terming it third generation. So one thing that also sets Cardano apart from other blockchains is that they're banking on the success of crypto as a whole. So what that means is in the future they want to allow all other cryptocurrencies to transact on their blockchain. So to a certain extent, if you believe in just crypto, this might be another more general option for you to invest in as they grow. You'd expect their native currency to also grow in value.
So are they thinking that their blockchain is going to be better than other blockchains?
Yes.
And then, for example, Bitcoin adopts
I think Bitcoin is a bad example.
Okay, yeah.
Because just think of other third generation. So think of like Nano, Polkadot.
Right, okay.
All of these other like...
So say random Polkadot, right?
Yeah,
they decide, we're going to transact on the Cardano blockchain.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct. So that's the thinking, which is kind of interesting. Now, speed, which is a really important one in these third generation cryptos. Bitcoin, 4 transactions a second. Ethereum, actually 20 transactions a second. And ADA, 6 transactions a second. So currently it's slower, but they have a path to 1 million transactions a second.
Wow, okay, all right.
Which is really cool. So it is deflationary. So its maximum supply is 45 billion coins, and currently there's about 32 billion. So that's 70% of the total amount that's ever going to be in existence. Bitcoin, as you may remember, it's like about 21 million. I think it's 21.5 million or something like that. And currently there's about 19.8 or something, which is about 90% of its maximum in circulation. So that's cool. It's not like Ethereum, where I think one of the problems with Ethereum potentially is that
they can grow in size.
It's got no cap.
Yeah.
And so I was watching someone talk about it today, and they were saying that they think in future revisions of Ethereum, they'll likely put like a hard cap. But right now that's not there, so it is what it is.
So do you think when it moves to Ethereum 2.0 or something?
No, I don't think so. Well, I don't know. I think it's potentially later than that.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Current price as of 11 o'clock this morning, as you said, it's the 3rd of July, 2021. ADA is $1.80, which is up 1.5% in a 24-hour period. Good. And it's up 18 times since its 52-week low.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Which is about the same time last year. Bitcoin today is at 11 o'clock, 44,500 Australian dollars. This is all Australian dollars, obviously.
Yeah.
Which is down about 1% in a 24-hour period, which is up 4x since its 52-week low. And Nano, just because we've talked about it before, is currently $6.30, which is down 2% in a 24-hour period and up 6x in a 52-week low. So ADA up 18x, Nano 6x, Bitcoin 4x in compared to the 52-week low. So market cap. This actually really surprised me. I think
It's a lot higher than you thought.
Yeah, I think Cardano. Sorry, I often say Cardona, but that's not correct. Cardano.
Grant's getting you confused. Yeah.
Cardano has. I think it's really jumped up in the market cap board. So Bitcoin's obviously number one. Do you want to guess what it is?
What Cardano is?
No, Bitcoin.
What the market cap is at the moment? I'm gonna say it's at its all-time high, it crossed over $1 trillion.
That's right. Yep.
So I'm gonna say it's like, I don't know, maybe it got to 1.1 or 1.2 at some point, and I know that it's lost 50% of its value in the last couple of months.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say 650.
840.
840. Okay.
Ethereum is 330.
Yep. Okay.
ADA 58 billion, coming in at number 3.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
To put that in perspective, Nano is only 850 million.
Yeah.
As opposed to 58 billion.
Yeah, but do you know what Nano ranks in terms of popularity of?
In terms of on the market cap spectrum?
Yeah.
It's like 51 right now.
Yeah, okay.
But when we did this episode like 3 or 4 weeks ago, it was right down at I feel like it was like 80 something.
Cool. There we go.
So
moving up in the world.
That's cool.
Must have been our video.
That's what it would have been.
Yeah.
Okay, so 24-hour volume. ADA did 3 billion Australian dollars, which is 5% of its market cap, which is up 6% in comparison to 24 hours ago.
Okay.
Up 9%, which is quite a lot.
Yeah.
So some increased buying potentially. And Bitcoin in the same period, $35 billion in market volume, which is 4% of its market cap. And that's actually 30% down in comparison to 24 hours ago. So that's interesting. In a 52-week period, ADA has been from 10 cents to $3.30 was its all-time high. 10 cents its low.
And now it's $1.80, you said?
And now it's $1.80. That's right. So it's sort of sitting right in between there. And so that's a 33x to its high in May, which is really interesting. Or $3.20. Bitcoin was $12 to $86. Peaked at 86, which is crazy, hey?
Yeah.
Which is about 7x.
86, yeah, it peaked at 86K. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then Nano 90 cents to 23, so 26x. So that's pretty awesome. And a really interesting statistic, I think, is return on investment since its launch. So this is, if you sort of read the white paper and then just bought it straight away, what would your return be? And so for ADA, it would be 62x, which is on a compounded annual growth rate that is about 2.8 times per year over the 4-year period. So 2.8x your money every year over 4 years.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
If you owned Cardano. Bitcoin, total of 247x, obviously, because it's super expensive.
Yeah.
But it's been around for 12 years, so that's only 1.5x per year over 12 years compounded. And Nano, which is absolutely astonishing, is 528x, almost double the return on investment if you had bought both of them. And it's only 6 years, so it's half the amount of time. Double the amount of return, half the amount of time as Bitcoin. And so that's a 2.8 2.8 times increase each year over 6 years compounded. So that's really interesting. A new statistic, which we haven't talked about before, is number of Reddit members in a community.
Yeah.
So Nano Currency, which is...
We talked about that with GME and,
did we?
and Wall Street Bets.
Oh, sorry.
But yes. No, sorry.
So Nano Currency, which is Nano's largest community, is 100,000.
Yes. Wow.
Like
A big community.
right? Cardano is 500K and Bitcoin is 3.2 million. So to paint a better picture, Nano is 3% of the community of Bitcoin and Cardano is 15% of the community of Bitcoin. So kind of interesting, don't know? So Cardano solves 3 problems. It solves interoperability, which is being able to...
What's that word?
Interoperability.
Interoperability.
Yeah, interoperability.
I don't know. Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, keep going. I don't know what that means, but yes.
Well, it's being able to use different products within... being able to seamlessly use different products. So what that means is like, you know how I said that on their chain they're going to allow transacting of different coins. That's trying to solve this problem. So they believe that they can make different coins function together in the future. And so on the Cardano chain, they can see, Polkadot and Nano, whatever. Maybe not, I don't know about Nano, but a bunch of different third generation cryptos all transacting on one blockchain, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So that's the first problem. That problem is we get into a world where we have our value or our net worth stored in different coins, and how do we actually transact that?
Yeah. And so what are there any advantages to having like it's ADA, isn't it? Yeah. Are there any advantages to ADA's price if other cryptos can transact on Cardano?
It's a good question. So what's the moat around their particular crypto that would make you want to use that as opposed to another one?
Yeah.
I don't know, to be honest. It's a good question.
Because I know like Visa the other day were transacting on the Ethereum blockchain, but they were transacting the US dollar coin. So I think they've done a lot of testing with that. But
interesting.
Yeah, but it's a US dollar coin is a fixed to the US dollar.
Yes.
And it's just a digital crypto that's going to help them settle stuff faster. So yeah, and they're using the Ethereum blockchain to that. But I assume that doesn't push up the price of Ether.
No.
But that's just because they're using the Ethereum
Yeah,
chain.
unless it does, just because people think it should.
Yeah, true.
Anyway, interesting. Okay, that's cool. So the second one is like scalability. So I'll talk about how it actually works. So this is just about transactions per second. So we need to get transactions per second up to be, great numbers for it to be adopted worldwide. So they use a system called Ouroboros.
Ouroboros.
I believe that's what it's called. It's kind of a funny word when you say it. And so they use proof of stake, which we've talked about, which I'll run over really quickly again, instead of proof of work. And their actual blockchain is guaranteed to be secure so long as 51% or more of the stake is held by honest participants. So what that's saying is like one in a terrible situation where one person or a group of people get 49% of the total staked ADA, and they try and do something that's actually not correct, then they can still control it securely as long as 51% of the people have it in an honest wallet. And so wallets themselves can either stake themselves. They can set themselves up with a machine and stake money, or stake ADA, or they can join staking pools, which is much more common.
Yeah, staking pools.
Because if you're not online,
because you're not going to have a billion.
Exactly, because you need to have a certain number of coins before you're actually going to get allocated a block to verify, and you need to have all of your machine and equipment and everything on all the time. And so it's easier to delegate that within a large pool of people. So the network is divided into epochs. And the way you describe that, the way you spell that word is EPOCH.
Okay.
So it kind of looks like epoch.
Okay, yep.
Okay, but from what I can tell, it's said epochs or epochs. Epochs was kind of what most people were saying, so I'll say epochs. The time in the network is divided into epochs. Okay, so one epoch is equal to about 5 days. Okay, and within the epoch, it's split into slots. and each slot is equal to 1 second.
Yeah.
So you have a slot, 1 second. You have an epoch, which is about 5 days. And within the slot, that's the time that one block is created.
Yeah.
So every transaction, 6 of them or whatever it is at the moment, within 1 second is created into a block. Every slot, which is every second. And then the ability to verify that is given out to what are called network assigned slot leaders. So a slot leader is the person who validates the transaction within the slot or multiple transactions. They create the block that stores the data, and then they add the block to the Cardano chain. Cool. And so a slot leader is assigned, and they're the only person who can mine that particular block. So this is where, like, with Bitcoin mining, the main problem with mining is that you've got, like, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of miners all fighting each other on each block to try and hash the most amount of it. And so this is why people have got these big sheds full of stuff, you know. But in this situation, you're allocated a block and you mine it. And it's as simple as that.
And you don't have to compete, so you won't have to
no
have
competition.
Massive, GPUs trying to mine it. Yeah.
So this is kind of mitigating the energy issue that's come up of late. So the reward timeline is a little complicated. Well, it's not complicated. Let me just try and explain it. So we talked about epochs, right? Or epochs. If we take a scenario where we have 5 epochs, epoch number 1, or time 0, is the time in which you can delegate your ADA. So let's say I'm a wallet, I own a bunch of ADA, I can delegate that to a staking pool ready to go so I can earn some interest. We've got 5 epochs, and the first one is the time in which you can delegate your ADA to a staking pool. And then at the end of that 5-day period, it takes a snapshot of the network, and it says, Isaac has his 3 ADA in this particular staking pool. And so it gets into, so that takes a snapshot in the second, at the start of the second epoch. And then in the third, your delegation is active. So in the third epoch, that's the time in which the staking pool that you're in is live and has the potential to be allocated a block to mine. Okay? In the fourth, so that's a 5-day window as well. In the fourth is when the rewards are calculated. And then in the fifth is when the rewards are actually delivered. Right. So it's a really elongated period. And you can imagine that this 5-stage approach just continues to happen. So what that basically means is when you leave a staking pool, you've still got like another 3 weeks or so, you've still got another 3 epochs worth of rewards that you'll take. In the same way that when I join a staking pool, I've still got to wait like 4 weeks before I'm actually going to see a reward from that.
Right. Long-term investment, hey?
So it's interesting. So rewards and fees are 0.3% of the outstanding ADA reserved, which is about 13 billion. So I said that it was about 70% or something of the total quantity of ADA that are going to be put out into the world. About 13 billion approximately is left. And so 0.3% of that outstanding ADA is paid to the staking pools per epoch as a reward for validating the chain. That's cool. It's highly scalable, and so they can increase the amount of slots per epoch. So right now it's 1 every second. It could be more. They can do multiple epochs in parallel. And as I said before, they're on the path to 1 million transactions per second, which is pretty cool. Network bandwidth is important, and so Cardano uses a protocol called RENA, which is recursive internetwork architecture, which it's like super fancy terminology for basically it splits a network into subnetworks. So instead of having like 1,000 different individual wallets, They all have to individually talk to each other.
Yeah.
It'll split it up into, 10 groups of 10. And those individual 10 networks, they have the ability to talk to each other. It's actually similar to an internet protocol where information is stored in packets and then transferred, as opposed to sending every individual piece of data. So it's kind of similar. And then the third one that's important for them to consider is sustainability. So they've set up a treasury, which you love treasuries.
I do love treasuries.
Yeah, and you love it. And so
you got me excited now.
I know. This treasury, it receives a small percentage of transactions. Okay? So every transaction that happens, this treasury receives just a really, really small percentage of the transaction. I'm not sure what the number is, but it's very small. And it sits in a special wallet, which is not controlled by anyone. And remember, this is coded into the network. And a smart contract releases the funds to developers for improvements to the Cardano protocol.
Okay.
So what happens is there's a proposal submitted. This is all using smart contracts.
Yeah.
There's a proposal submitted to the community with a budget and stuff like that, what it's going to cost. Then the community votes on all these different proposals that different developers are proposing to the community. And then after a period of time elapses, the treasury then funds the winning developers who got the most votes.
Yeah. So should we just jump back into, so like if we can roll back a minute.
Yes.
A smart contract is, so I heard a pretty good way of explaining it, and I think it's pretty decent. A smart contract is what you do with a vending machine, right? So you put in the money,
yes,
and then the money's held, and you can withdraw it if you don't want anything,
yes.
And then you press B4, and then the machine is obliged to give you your packet of chips or whatever, and then the contract's finalized. You get the chips out. You've given the money over, and so there's some kind of system that's holding in place the money safe for a minute.
Sort of a sequence of events need to happen.
Yep.
Before the end product.
Yeah, and you give the machine the reward, and the machine gives you your product, kind of thing. And so one thing happens, and then two actions are taken. You've given money, you've received service, or
totally
whatever. So yeah, I reckon that's a pretty good way of explaining.
No, I think that's really good.
Yeah,
I think it's really good. And then a little bit about staking data. I'll send you a link. You can maybe put it in the visuals. Again, it's a cool little dashboard showing network information. So total stake right now is 72% of total outstanding ADA, which is worth 42 billion Australian dollars. That's in staked accounts, so that can't really be used right now. Active pools in existence is over 2,500. With a 99% sync rate in the last hour when I was looking at it. So it's pretty good. And total staked addresses, this is the number of wallets that have their ADA staked, is over 650,000. And we currently are at epic number 275, which ends in 2 days.
Okay.
And within that epic, we're
the epics are what did you say, 5 day periods?
Yeah.
So there's been 275 5-day periods so far.
Yeah.
In the existence since 2017 or whatever it was. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
And slot number within that epic is about, it'd be more than that right now, but it was about 280,000, which is 64% of the epic. So that makes about sense because they were at day 3. With 2 days left to go, so that's about right. So yeah, it's kind of cool. I like the fact that one of the founders of Ethereum is working on it. I went on their website, and which was that Hong Kong company that I talked about initially.
Yeah.
And
input output
Hong Kong.
Yeah.
I was blown away with it just felt super smart.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know.
I'm also on that website.
Are you?
But I don't think it's working very well for me because we're too far away from the. It just looks blank.
Yeah. So that's the thing.
Oh, it is supposed to be blank. Is there supposed to be something in the middle?
Yeah, something happened. Hey.
Oh, you have to click.
How cool is this?
Oh, that is actually very cool.
How cool is that?
I'm going to put a screen
show a
recording.
visual of this. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that's so fun.
How fun is that?
What's the point of it?
There's no point, which is kind of cool.
Okay. Yeah. Right. All right.
And then you can click on the tabs at the top.
Yeah. Right. Can I say something else about companies from Hong Kong?
Yes.
They love to, or, Hong Kong, Taiwan, all that kind of thing. They have very literal names that end in... So, HSBC is something to do with Hong Kong, but ICBC, which is another thing that Chinese companies in Hong Kong and Taiwan companies love to call their bank.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's ICBC, which is International Commercial Bank of China. And then there's Mega ICBC, which is Mega International.
And they're not affiliated.
Yeah, and they're different companies.
That's funny.
And there's heaps of good ones.
True.
Yeah. Anyway.
So there's two websites that you need to check out. I'll talk about them with the assumption that there'll be a video here.
Yes.
So the first one is actually super cool. Maybe I'll show you here so we can get you reacting to it.
Okay. All right.
You'll actually love this.
Okay.
So let's see what this is. So this is Bitcoin and Ethereum blockchain live transaction visualizer.
Okay.
So each transaction is a little person, and they fill up buses which represent blocks.
All right.
You ready for this?
What's the website called?
TX Street. The
currently loading.
Yeah.
Just to update the listeners, we're live listening to a website.
We'll cut this bit out.
No, we're not going to cut it.
Oh no! So Pool Tool.
Pool Tool
is Cardono's dashboard. It's basically the dashboard. You can see like their staking information. Here we go.
Oh, here we go.
How good's this?
This is heaps funny. Okay, so there's a game called no, I forgot the name of the game. Never mind. Prison Architect. There's a game called Prison Architect.
Okay.
And you control little prisoners kind of thing. You build a new fence, all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So this is like that in combination with like South Park, something like that. Like, all funny little people getting onto buses full of Bitcoin, hey?
Oh, Bitcoin just went offline.
Oh no! Should have been screen recording. Sorry.
Look, you can see all the people on the bus.
Yeah. Oh, that's heaps funny. What? And so this is Cardano here?
No, sorry, this is not related to Cardano.
Oh, this is just a cool website.
That's Ethereum over there.
Oh, and you click which
and this is Bitcoin.
currency you want?
And you can only choose between these: Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, Monero, and Bitcoin.
Right.
So anyway, I thought it was cool.
No, that's fun.
And then this is that's not loading.
Pooltool.io.
Yeah. So anyway,
well, tell me what
the
it
links
does.
are in my description. So
okay. Well, tell us what we do, and then what does it do?
What does what do?
Pooltool.io.
Yeah. Well, that's where I got all my information on the staking stuff. So that's where I found out what epic they were at.
Yep.
What slot within that epic, stuff like that. So it's a really cool way to just see live data on the network.
Now you may speak.
So that is Cardano. That's ADA. I think it's cool. I own a little bit, not that much.
One of your many crypto holdings.
I don't have that many.
Gigantic.
I think
portfolio.
I have. This is a good question. I think I have 5, maybe 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
Diversified portfolio.
One of them.
Interesting.
Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin.
Dogecoin. You have Dogecoin?
Sorry. Yeah. Only a little bit.
Or if you're old, Doggy Coin.
Nano, Cardano.
Yep.
And I have a random 6 one, which we'll talk about at some point.
Do you remember when we were on the boat episode? I don't know if it was episode 9, maybe.
Yeah.
And I was like, you said, "Oh, do you have any more content?" And I was like, "Not really, unless you want to talk about Dogecoin." And then we had a good laugh because like no one was really we weren't a cryptocurrency podcast then. Anyway, with how the times have changed,
how the
tables have turned,
how the
turns have tabled. Wow.